Hi everyone, I'm Jennifer Roig-Francolí, the mind-body violinist, and I really love to help musicians, especially violinists, learn to deal with their performance anxiety, excess tension, pain, basically whatever's going to help a violinist or a musician out of physical discomfort and negative thinking, okay? So before I get started on my main topic, which is dealing with performance anxiety today, I'd like to just tell you that I have a free closed Facebook group, and I invite all of you musicians out there, especially you violinists and violists, I invite you to join my group and use the link at the top of this post to join. And I have something special that I'm creating for all of you that's going to be ready on Wednesday, but you can click on the link that I'm going to give you at the bottom of this post when I'm done, and in my Facebook group you can go pick it up. If you have ever worried that you're not good enough as a violinist or as a human being, then I have a checklist for you to help you through it, and a guide to just give you a big picture overview of what it means to be a mind-body aware human person as a violinist. Basically a description, like a roadmap of the journey of being a heart-centered, loving, sharing musician, okay? So I'm still designing that, and I'm putting all my best into that. So you can sign up for it now, and I'll give you the link when I'm done. And it's going to be available on Wednesday, but you can sign up for it now. And okay, I'm going to dive into the topic for today. And it was really easy for me to come up with the topic because I'm nervous. Okay, this is my first public Facebook Live, and I told everybody I know about it. So I am feeling, oh, thank you, whoever's sending me hearts, thank you. Yeah, send me lots of thumbs up and hearts, and it'll give me like extra support when I'm doing this video. So yes, when I'm nervous, I tend to get excited and I talk really fast, and so I am noticing that about myself right now. And as a musician, we often tend to do that as well when we're making music. How many of you musicians out there have ever rushed in performance? Give me a thumbs up, or actually even better, write yes in the comments if you've ever rushed or if rushing is something that you have to work on, or maybe your teacher has told you that you've got to work on your rhythm, you need to just slow down, you need to calm down and stop rushing so much. Just take it easy, one note at a time. Tell me a yes if you've ever had that happen to you, or if you're telling it to yourself. How often do you work with the metronome? Yes, Eleni, hi, and Anne, and Joe. Yes, great. And it's so nice to have you all here, my friends. Thanks for showing up for me. I feel supported now. Thank you. Yeah, actually, the more thumbs up and hearts and things you can send my way, the more Facebook helps to spread all of this around the world. So thank you so much for your comments, by the way. And Anne is saying, I rushed into a duo with a friend. She attributed it to champagne. That's great. Oh, that's so funny. Actually, usually alcohol kind of slows you down, but let's not go there. Let's not use that as a tool. Barbara, hi. Okay, so anyway, about rushing. Very often that's because we're a little nervous, or just because we're trying to get ahead of ourselves. Maybe we're excited and trying to express ourselves and get to the end of the phrase, or get to the important, interesting part. There's so many reasons for rushing. And I don't really want to go into that topic. I'm going to leave that for a later Facebook Live or teaching or something, but rushing is actually a big topic. So we'll set that aside. I just wanted to bring that up because I keep noticing that I'm rushing as I'm speaking, and that happens when we make music as well. And for me right now, it's because I'm just a little nervous. My first Facebook Live in public. So I've done Facebook Lives before, and they are fun, which is why I'm like, I'm gonna do this every week. So every week at 9 a.m. on Mondays, Eastern time, you can expect me to be here, and I will do my best to show up for you, because I want to help you with these ideas about Alexander technique, learning how to integrate your mind and your body and your soul and spirit so that you can really bring the best of you and enjoy your music making to the fullest. That's my goal for you and for me. So, performance anxiety. The way I thought I'd talk about it today, oh, and hi, Jill. The way I thought I'd talk about it today is basically just to show you what I go through and what I teach my students. Since I am a little nervous, it's perfect teaching material, right? Because I've got it right now, and I'm going to work through it myself here, and you can watch me, and then let's talk about it afterwards in my Facebook group. So if you're not in my Facebook group, use the link and come join us. It's a great group of people. Okay, so I am feeling nervous right now, and the first thing I need to do is to kind of do a little self-check. I'm going to check in with myself and ask myself, well, what am I noticing about my body right now? So right now, I do notice just like this, it's not the coffee, it's a little bit of jitteriness. I've got a little bit of shakes. And when I'm playing the violin, if I feel a lot of that, that's actually my personal weak spot because I have an essential tremor. I've had it since, well, probably forever, but I started noticing it when I was a teenager. And so I know I have that, and that just means that I have a condition which is very, very, very common, but it just means like when I hold my hand, you can probably see it shakes. Even when I'm not nervous, it's just always like that. But when I'm nervous, it does a lot more of that, and that makes it really hard for me to play long, slow, soft bows, because my bow will shake. Thankfully, I have been practicing Alexander technique since since 2003, it's a long time. And I have amazing tools to help me deal with the essential tremor as well as how the manifestation of when it gets really bad if I'm really nervous. So what I'm doing here right now, hi Kay, welcome. And oh, Barbara has essential tremors too. Great. Well, I hope that what I'm going to share now can help you, because it's been very powerfully helpful for me to get to the point where I can be nervous now and play my violin and have almost none of it show up. And usually when it shows up, I'm the only one that can tell. The audience never knows. The audience is always telling me, wow, Jennifer, you look so calm and relaxed, even if inside I'm kind of shaky. So right now, the shakiness is the first thing that has kind of manifested in me, and that's how I know I'm nervous. Okay, first a little jittery. Then I noticed that I've got some tightness going on in my arms at the same time. So yeah, and the more I check in with myself, the more tension I'm aware of, which is great. I'm really, truly, honestly excited that I'm starting to notice more and more of the tension, because as I pay attention to what's going on, it's the reality of what's happening right now. The more I acknowledge that reality, you can see my voice is starting to calm down even as I'm talking about it. The more I acknowledge the reality, the more it's bubbling up to my consciousness. It's not unconscious. I'm not trying to run away from the feeling anymore. I'm accepting the feeling deeply in my body, and I know it's bubbling up to the surface of my awareness, and it's on the way out. And I know from years of experience practicing these things is that it works. It works. Usually we're trying to run away from a feeling or fight it, or we freeze, hoping, kind of playing dead and hoping nobody will see us. But those are natural fear responses. I'm not trying to get rid of that startle response, but instead of continuing to feed that fight, flight, freeze response, we want to actually use this conscious thinking mind that we have, that the animals don't have that ability to kind of work through what they're dealing with in the conscious way. And I digress. I'm not going to get into animals right now, but we do have an animal side, and so the startle response is a natural animal response to possible danger. But me being here alone in my living room on a Facebook Live is not actually dangerous or life-threatening. So my conscious thinking mind is reminding myself, oh, I'm actually safe. There is no danger here. And so I am actually free to start noticing my feelings and to become a little more sensitive to them. I'm noticing more of the tension, and as it bubbles up to consciousness, it starts to dissolve. It works every single time. But that doesn't mean it's easy. Acknowledging and embodying our feelings as a musician, as a human being, is absolutely essential to be working through issues you're dealing with, to be able to access that inner wisdom in us that has no fear. It's just love. Just let's be here and access our hearts and be able to, you're, as a musician, violinist, or whatever instrument you play, or any kind of artist, you want to be able to access your deep emotions, your true feelings inside your heart, and you want to be able to express those feelings freely through your body first. This is your primary instrument. Your mind-body self is your primary instrument. So you want to be able to feel those emotions deeply and express them out through. So it's like a flow of energy that you're not blocking the feelings. You're letting that energy flow through your entire system so that it can go out your limbs if you use your limbs to play an instrument like I do, or your voice if you're a singer. You want to be able to have that kind of freedom in your body so that your ideas, which are real things in your body, it's physical, not just abstract. You've got chemicals and electrical impulses and all that stuff is traveling through your bloodstream and your nervous system and everything. So you want it to be able to move freely so it can go out your arms and out your violin, right? So the first step, the first key in my 7 keys to make your music sing, which is this checklist that I'm creating for you, stay tuned. The first thing on that checklist is basic self-care. We've got to know that we are our primary instruments. You take yourself wherever you go. You are with yourself everywhere all day long, and every action you take is influenced by how you are using your mind-body self. It's just logical. It's common sense, but we don't think about it, and we usually aren't taught this. So Alexander Technique teaches us to value our primary instrument and really understand that it's the mind-body connection. It's that how powerful our thoughts are. It's what we do with ourselves that changes the quality of our actions, okay? So back to this performance anxiety topic. As I'm talking and sharing these ideas with you, I am not feeling so anxious anymore. So as I acknowledged my feeling of anxiety and tension and nervous excitement, because I really was looking forward to this actually, I've learned how to look at the other side of performance anxiety, which is like the other side of a coin. It's performance excitement. So I can use that adrenaline and that nervous rush to perform. That's why I love being a performer. I've been performing since I was 4 at least. My mom says I needed a violin when I was 2, so it's in my blood, and my whole family is musicians too. So performance is natural to me, and yet I still get nervous. So give me a yes. Just write yes in the comments below if you ever have experienced some performance anxiety as a musician, or if you're not a musician watching this, just what performance anxiety is too. Just give me a yes if you've ever experienced it, if you know what it's like. And then I would love to hear from everybody here. If you just imagine your performance anxiety, maybe the last time you were nervous, or maybe you know what your habitual way of experiencing performance anxiety is. Oh, I'm getting a lot of yeses. Joe, Barbara, Kay, yes, definitely. Jill, Joan. Hey, Joan, welcome. And Yola, yeah. So, and yes to performance anxiety, yes. So you all kind of know what this is about. John, hello, welcome. And Larry, hey, nice to see you here. And Sandy. And Zvi, welcome. Glad you're all here. So yes, we all know what performance anxiety is about. And Eleni goes, yes. Right, we know what it's like. Now, think about your own personal way of experiencing performance anxiety. And, oh yes, Barbara's already answering my question. Yes. What I want to know from each of you, if you dare to expose yourself, you can do it, I'm doing it, you can do it. Just tell us, what is your number one way of experiencing performance anxiety in your body? Okay, just write it in the comments. Just, 1 or 2 words, whatever. Where do you notice it first? Barbara says, my response is to get tight. Yeah, me too. I start noticing the shakes. I start noticing my heart goes really fast. Yeah, so yeah, just, it's nice to be able to acknowledge it and throw it out there, and it helps everybody else to see, how many different varieties of performance anxiety can we come up with? I'm seeing breath shaking, hands start to shake. Yeah, okay, so I have that too, obviously. So how do you deal with it? So I've got 2 ways, all right? Here are the 2 ways. I'm seeing increased heart rate. Oh, you lose your place in the music, loss of focus, shallow breath. Yeah, lots of them. Keep them coming as they come up. So here's the first way. Okay, the first way to deal with performance anxiety is what most people do. They hope for the best. Okay, so this may sound familiar to you or not, but maybe you know you get nervous when you perform, or maybe even you even get nervous before a lesson, or maybe your best friend shows up and wants to hear you play and you get a little nervous. It doesn't have to be a performance at Carnegie Hall with 1,000 people. So the first way would be to know that you get nervous, but just kind of hope for the best and not do anything about it until the day of, when you wake up and you're like, oh my God, I have to play today, I have to perform. And instantly you get that adrenaline rush. Maybe you couldn't even sleep that night because you went to bed feeling nervous. Give me a thumbs up if this sounds familiar. And then what do? Well, that day of the performance, you probably remember all the things your teachers and friends and articles you've read have ever told you. Maybe you know that deep breathing is good and doing things slowly is good, and you gotta eat right. These things are all helpful, but they don't help that much on the day of the performance. Yeah, thumbs up from Jill. Right, so have you ever had this experience where you know you're gonna get nervous, but you don't know what to do about it, so you just kind of hope that this time it'll be better, and then the day of, you just start to get more and more nervous, and it gets worse and worse, and then you show up to the performance or whatever, and you're just shaking, and you're like, oh my God, get me out of here. I don't want to do this. And your mind is just going, it's going to be terrible. What are they going to think? And then you have the doubt monsters attack you. The doubt monsters is something I love to talk about. And don't let me get started on the doubt monsters right now, because I'm going to be here for 2 hours. And you might want that, but I don't want that. So I'm not going to talk about the doubt monsters. I'm going to leave that for another day. But the doubt monsters are basically when your mind takes over, your habits take over, and you're basically not in the present moment anymore. And you're worried about what might happen, or you're remembering that last performance where you had a memory slip or whatever embarrassing thing happened. Basically, you're not in the present moment, and you're projecting into the possible unknown future, and it tends to be negative projection. So Alexander technique is one of the best, really, truly, maybe the best way, one of the best. There are other things out there that I love. But Alexander technique is by far one of the best ways that I have learned to bring my whole self back into the present moment, so that everything's perfect in the present moment. It's like, even if I'm experiencing nervousness or tension, it's really exactly how I'm supposed to be right now. So I'm going to just continue telling you that this is the second way. So the first way is leave it up to chance and hope for the best and do what you think might help, like deep breathing, but then you might hyperventilate and it gets worse. And like, first way doesn't work. If you get lucky, it works, but it's not consistent and it's not reliable. What I want is a consistent tool to deal with my performance anxiety that works every single time. And I have found that in Alexander technique. Absolutely. So back to my experience right now, I'm going to share with you a really, really powerful way that I use to deal with performance anxiety. I didn't do it before this video because I wanted to show up with the worst of it. And I did. It wasn't that terrible, but not the worst. But this is what I do, and I'm going to do it right now to help myself in the present moment get back in touch with more and more and more of myself, uniting my mind, my thinking, my body, my feelings, emotions, soul, spirit. I want to be whole. I am always whole, but I forget that I'm always whole. So I'm reminding myself first of my 3 magic phrases that keep coming to mind when I wonder, okay, what do I do now? So I've got 3 magic phrases, and I'll talk about those in depth in another live video. Actually, if you just as an aside, if you come up with a topic while I'm talking that interests you, put it in the comments. I really want to know what you want me to talk about. I'm going to do this every week. So give me topics and I'll talk on what you want, okay? I'll also address things in my closed Facebook group, which is free, and I want you to join, and we'll talk about more of these issues in the group, okay? The link is at the top, of this post. You can find me really easily in that group. I'm losing my train of thought. So I need to bring myself back, and that reminds me of my 3 magic phrases every time. Just briefly, without getting into them, they are, I am free. I don't have to do anything right now. That's the truth. I don't have to do anything right now. I don't even have to finish this video if I don't want to. So it makes me ask myself, well, what do I really want? I don't have to do anything. What do I want to do? Thankfully, I want to be doing exactly what I'm doing right now with my whole self, and it just gives me goosebumps because I love doing what I'm doing right now with you here. It's great. Number 3, I have time and space. That reminds me that I really have time. I don't have to rush. Hey, if any of you ever has the thought or a habitual sense that you don't have enough time for whatever it is you want to do, put yes in the comment. Just tell me, just yes. Give me yes if you ever feel like you don't have enough time and it stresses you out. Give me a yes. Or a thumbs up, or a yes, that's me. Okay, so that's definitely me. I'm always doing things in a hurry, and I like to get things done. I'm a doer, and it's incredibly helpful for me to remember that I have time, okay? So I'm free. I don't have to do anything right now. I want to do it. And I have time and space, okay? So yeah, I see some yeses showing up. Bring those yeses on. If you know what I'm talking about, not having enough time, give me a yes. All right, so I've just reminded myself of my 3 magic phrases. Very, very useful food for thought. My assignment to you is to think about those phrases and see what they might mean to you. Everybody responds differently to those phrases. People like more one or the other. Some people they have a favorite. Anyway, so after I think about my 3 magic phrases, and that reminds me of kind of my attitude. It's like a mind shift for me that happens like that when I remember those 3 magic phrases. Then I go back to my self-check and wondering, what do I notice about my body right now? Now I invite you to do this with me right now. So as you're watching this video, check in with yourself. Just ask yourself, what do I notice about my body right now? And then in the comments section, if you feel like it, I'd love to just see, what are you noticing about yourself right now? Where do you feel, what do you feel in your body? Anything that shows up. Just go kind of bring your attention a little inward instead of being, here something entertaining is happening on your screen, so your attention is likely drawn more outward. But in Alexander technique, we're learning how to balance that inward and outward focus. Okay, we're always going back and forth, but this is a way to bring that inward and outward focus more into a unified whole. Frank Pierce Jones was an amazing Alexander teacher who studied with Alexander himself, and he talked about having a unified field of awareness. So that's what we want, and it's in constant flux. So just asking yourself right now, what do I notice about myself? I'm seeing my shoulders were raised. Yes, that's exactly the kind of stuff that you want to notice. I just noticed right now as I was talking, I was noticing, oh, my left foot was tight. It's funny, my left foot keeps showing up this week a lot. So my left foot just is tight, but as soon as I bring my attention to it, it starts to release. That's just me right now. So, okay, so maybe you're noticing some tension in your body in some places, or tightness. Someone is saying, sorry, this is showing up. I see, I've got to scroll. I'm on my phone, which is great. I love this. But the comments stopped scrolling. So, okay, now I can see. Joan says, my shoulders were raised. Anne says, I'm noticing an easy back. I'm tired, curious, great. Someone is saying, I feel my legs, excellent. I'm clenching my jaw, great. So keep noticing, go inward and notice. And keep your eyes open, by the way, that's important. I'm not going to get into why right now, but there are good reasons. You want to have your eyes open. Basically, you want to stay open to the world. Make it short. So yes, so you might be noticing some tension or tightness. And now I want you to start wondering, where in my body do I notice a bit of ease or relative comfort, or maybe there's not much going on and like my right foot is pretty quiet right now. Great. No pain, no nothing, not much going on there. My right leg is pretty easy. So as you kind of shift your filtering for ease or an easing or a gentle, soft releasing somewhere, you can still be feeling really tight, but there's always relative tension and relative ease in your body. Okay, so noticing relative ease and comfort in your body is a skill. We are not trained or taught to notice what's good and right and normal. Our brains are actually hardwired for survival to notice what's wrong or out of place or uncomfortable or potentially life-threatening about 5 times as much as the positive, okay? So don't worry, if all you're noticing is tension, you're designed to be like that and notice that. But it's not really helpful because you get more of what you focus on. So what I want you to do is to start developing the skill of bringing your attention to what's good and positive and working well. And we'll call that an easing in the body. Okay, so I want you to start noticing relative ease or an easing in your body. So Desiree says, my fingers are easy. Fabulous. Does anybody else notice any ease? Yeah, Larry, feeling easy. And noticing a weird clenching in my right foot toes. Great. It's great that you're noticing that. Everything you notice, you want to celebrate because it means it's bubbling up to the surface of your consciousness and you're releasing it. So noticing tension is actually a really good thing. Yes. Let's give Larry a thumbs up. Actually, I'm serious. Give him a thumbs up. It's great. You're feeling easy and you still notice some clenching. That means it's working its way out. Yeah, thumbs up for Larry. I can't give you a thumbs up because when I'm the one doing the video, I can't do it. That's why I want everybody else to give Larry a thumbs up. Anyway, Gary's asking, do you ever use the words, let the neck be free, to let the head go forward and up, to let the back lengthen and widen? Thank you, Gary. That is a fantastic question. I don't know if you're an Alexander student or teacher. I'm sorry, I don't know you yet. But for the people who are new here or who maybe have never done any Alexander technique, what Gary's asking, those specific words are traditional words. They're like self-directions or thoughts that you give yourself that Alexander used. He came up with these words as he was working on himself and making all his discoveries about mind-body coordination. Alexander discovered that he was tight, and he found a way to release the tightness so that his voice could expand and he could express himself freely through his voice, which is exactly what we're doing as musicians. We want to be able to express ourselves freely through our bodies. So Alexander did a lot of self-experiments, observed himself literally for years, and discovered all kinds of things about how the human being works, how the mind and the body coordinate and work together. And one of the tools that he developed for himself was to give himself these directions. Let the neck be free, to let the head move forward and up, to let the back lengthen and widen. And that's how he helped himself out of his discomfort. Over the years, Alexander, towards the end of his life, he stopped using those specific directions. And I believe that is written about in one of Walter Carrington's books for anybody who's interested in Alexander teachers and writings. So it's my understanding that he actually stopped using them because it was so easy, so tempting for us to try to do those directions. And what I mean by that is it's really easy to think about letting the neck be free as soon as, if you're, how can I say this in a simple way? Those directions are wonderful and they work great for many Alexander teachers, especially when they're using their hands-on. When the teacher is really not adding excess tension at all to those words and is practicing something we call non-doing, which is actually a state of easing, finding ease, getting easier and easier in the body. When the teacher is truly allowing that head-neck relationship to be free, then the head does naturally move away from the spine in a forward and up direction, and the back does lengthen and widen, and many more things in the body. Everything starts to be in better relationship in a more expansive way. So when the teacher is really embodying that non-doing spirit, then the student takes that and starts to understand it through the hands-on work. So it's wonderful. Those directions are wonderful for many people. Me personally, this is my personal experience, and I've written about this before. I had an epiphany one day in my kitchen when I was working with a student. And I was putting my hands on, and some voice inside of me really clearly just said, no, stop, not like that. That experience changed my life. It changed how I teach. It changed how I think about hands-on work. It changed how I continued to do hands-on work, and I still do sometimes, but less and less and less. Because I understood that my student is free. And I don't want to talk more about that, but you can read about it online, I think. And there was a podcast I did for Robert Rickover talking about that. That's where my 3 magic phrases come from. But I find, for me personally, that it's too tempting for me and it's too tempting for my students to try to do when I think the directions, let the neck be free, to let the head move forward and up, to let the back lengthen and widen. I've worked with those a lot, and I just find that even just let the neck be free is an imperative command. That verb formation is telling me to do something. That's the nature of the English language, even though the word let is wonderful. So that's why sometimes it's wonderful to use those words, sometimes it's not. I don't find them to be the most useful words for me or the people that I work with. And it's very consistent. It's consistent that I have more powerful, better tools. So sorry this answer to your question here was so long, but it's a very, very, very important point, and I wanted to give it full attention. And please, I invite you to have a conversation with me further on this topic if you're interested. I'd love to talk more about it with you or anybody who's interested. It's a huge topic, very important, and I don't use those words anymore, very, very, very rarely. Occasionally they pop up because they're in me, but I don't use them, okay? So, I feel like I went off on a huge digression. I'm so sorry for people who didn't know what I was talking about or didn't care, but thank you all for sticking around if you are interested in it. I want to go back now to the performance anxiety, and we were noticing tension, and then we started talking about noticing ease. And thanks for all those thumbs up, Joe. I appreciate that. Nan says, I relax just by listening. That makes me so happy, because truly with Alexander technique, Gary says, thanks, I'm an AT teacher in Toronto and a violist in the Toronto Symphony. Oh, lovely. I really do want to talk to you more. Let's follow up with this. Please message me or something afterwards. I'd love to connect with you. Larry says, that's why I'm experimenting with the idea of inviting my neck to be free these days. I love that. I'm less apt to interfere that way. Lovely. Yes, I invite everyone's neck to be free right now. I actually like to go a step further. I think my neck is free, and your neck is free, and everyone's neck is free. That's how it's made. It's designed to be free. It is free, and here's the caveat. It's free to be exactly as it is right now. And if it's tense, it's free to be tense. But there's always ease in the neck as well. So let's look for the ease. We're free to look for ease, okay? So now, I'm going to finish up pretty soon, but I want to give you one thing right now that puts it all together, and it's something I want you, if you're interested, I invite you to do this twice a day. I'm going to teach you something called the cycle. The cycle is a way to practice. You're increasing your skill of noticing ease, because what you focus on, you get more of. What you think is what you get, okay? I want more ease in my life, so I need to get better at noticing ease throughout my day, and then I bring it into my practicing, and my performance gets easier, and everything I do gets easier, and boy, this Facebook Live has gotten a lot easier since I started, so it really works. Yeah, so, and Barb says, it's funny, I hear Jennifer's voice and I instantly relax. Again, you and Nan, you just made my day, because I was going to say to Nan, it's like, in Alexander technique, we're really just getting to know ourselves and facing the truth. And when you face the truth, you can either run away from it or you can learn to love it. And when you love something, you start to open up. It's that simple. So I love that you love it. And we're all learning this together. So you're being here and supporting me and sending me hearts and thumbs up, that also feeds me and helps me feel better. So I open up even more, and then it's this wonderful mutual energy exchange, okay? So it's between human beings. It's not even teacher-student. It's just like, I'm here for you, and let's just be here for each other, and we're in this together. So the cycle is, it's an Alexander technique etude. It's created by my very dear friend Mio Morales, who's an Alexander teacher in Oregon. He's been teaching for like 40 some years, like 45 years maybe now. And he studied with Frank Pierce Jones and Marjorie Barstow. And he's been experimenting with very much the same kind of very similar ideas that I've been experimenting with. And I was so attracted to his ideas when I went to Ireland to the International Congress for Alexander Technique a few years ago. So we hit it off talking about Alexander Technique and these ideas. I mean, Alexander Technique is all about how you think and how your thoughts influence your body and your movements and your actions. And I had been experimenting with not using my hands for a while before that, and that's what he was doing. So, you know, it's a lot of what we're doing is a little cutting edge. It's not the most traditional way, but it goes back to the roots of what Alexander did himself. So I feel like it's pure Alexander. I feel very confident in saying what I'm doing is you know, sharing Alexander's discoveries with everyone. So he's developed this, he calls it Primal Alexander. I'm talking about Mio Morales. He teaches what he calls Primal Alexander, like I teach what I call the art of freedom. And he has developed these etudes as he's been experimenting over the years, and they're great. So I'm teaching them to my students all the time, and I'm learning more and more from Mio. And I do the cycle every day, and I have my students do it twice a day, and I'm getting pretty amazing, almost miraculous, dare I say, results with my students, even people I've never met in person, just online. So it's amazing. Oh gosh, Joe, oh, now I'm gonna blush. Joe says, not sure what you're doing technically, but this is the best Facebook Live. I'm gonna cry. Thank you. Okay, now I need to not think about that. This is about directing my mind and my attention. Okay, so the cycle, left. The cycle is a way to practice redirecting your attention to what you want, which is to be happy, have more ease in your body and your mind, and be whole. I think that's what you want. That's what I want. Give me a thumbs up if that's what you want. Come on, give me a heart if what you want is to just love life and be whole and be happy and share it with everybody. Come on, I want to see those hearts. I know there's a delay, but come on. Okay, so here's how we do the cycle. The cycle, we're gonna, and then after that, I promise I'm gonna end. I gotta stop. I get addicted to this because it's really fun. So, oh, now I'm happy. Now I'm really happy because the hearts are showing up. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, we gotta spread the love. And then share this video when I'm done, because then people can really benefit from this work. Yeah, and Eleni, yeah, heart for you too. This is the only way I can give people a heart. So here's a heart for everybody out there. Okay, the cycle. Coming back to what I'm wanting to teach you. Okay, the cycle is very simple, okay? We're going to take each finger one at a time. We're going to go through all 10 fingers, and you're going to very softly, gently hold one finger at a time, just like this. Just like you're holding a little bird, really, really softly. And then you're going to rest these two little birds in your lap and just let them fall and be soft in your lap, okay? For each finger, I'm going to count to 4. After each number, I want you to just kind of wonder, where is there a little bit of ease in my body? Nothing may show up right away. Doesn't matter, we'll go on to the next finger. Or you might notice, wow, okay, my thighs are easy. So then you just think thighs, and then we go on to the next number. I'm going to demonstrate for you right now on one finger, just so you get the hang of it. I know there are many people out there probably who've never even heard of any of this before. So I want to start from scratch. So now that you know how to find ease, when I say 1, okay, I'm doing it for myself right now. So I'm holding my thumb, resting my hands gently in my lap, and here I go. 1, neck. 2, breath. 3, neck. 4, neck again. A lot of neck is showing up for me right now. I'm going to do one more finger, index finger. 1, neck. 2, left foot. 3, ribs, 4, arms. Okay. So the first times that you do the cycle, you may not notice a darn thing right away. And that doesn't matter. You can just go on to the next number, it doesn't matter. Or you can just kind of bring your general attention or awareness to your head, neck area, maybe like this general region. And just say neck. That's another option. Doesn't matter what you're feeling in your neck, you can just say neck. So the magic of this is the wondering. The magic is in the wondering and the opening up your mind and your body to the possibility of noticing some ease. Okay? Just asking the question and wondering, where do I notice a little bit of ease right now? Does magic. And it's not magic really, it's neuroscience, okay? It's about what we're doing with our neurons. We're starting to link up the brain and the body, and maybe there's a little magic too. I'm not going to say there is no such thing. Who knows? I don't. And that's when I step into this wonderful land of I don't know, which is also very good. Okay, so basically, I want you to keep your eyes open as well. That's important because we want to stay connected to the outside world even while we're looking inward, okay? Because you don't want to be closing your eyes when you're walking down the street or driving your car and noticing ease. Okay, pretty obvious. So keep your eyes open. Don't worry if you don't notice anything. But if you do notice a place of gentle, relative ease, easing or flow, or just relative comfort in your body, just name the place with me, okay? So I'm going to do one hand. Actually, no, I'm just going to do a couple fingers out loud again, and then I'll stay silent. And I'm going to, count through. Basically, we're going to notice ease or wonder about ease 40 times, 4 times on each finger. And I will guide you. You don't need to say anything out loud if you don't want to. But a lot of people, especially in the beginning, do find it's easier to name a place out loud, name a place of ease in your body. You don't need to do any counting. I'll do all the counting. But when you do this on your own, when you do the cycle for yourself, twice a day, right? Give me a thumbs up if you're going to try it twice a day. And I can almost totally guarantee you're going to have positive changes if you do this experiment. So yes, great. Joe says building myelin. Yeah, okay. You're welcome, Gary. Thank you so much for stopping in. I really appreciated your comment and your being here. And let's be in touch, really. Okay, so the cycle. Let's do it together now. Okay, so you're holding your thumb. We're holding our thumbs, resting our hands. And I'm going to count to 4 on each finger, and you're just going to notice a place of ease. Name it out loud or silently. Okay? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Index finger, holding your finger very gently. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Middle finger. Don't worry if nothing shows up. Just keep moving through. If it feels too fast, doesn't matter. Just keep up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ring finger. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. Let's move on to the second hand. On the second hand, I'm going to do it just a little bit differently to make it even easier. Okay? It's possible to think really intensely, like when you focus and you concentrate and you want to get what you're learning and you really want to concentrate, right? That makes you tight No good, okay? That's very intense thinking. Then there's the opposite. We're just kind of on the beach, having a great time, not thinking about much at all. You're just sort of daydreaming, just very easy. Maybe you get out your instrument when you're on vacation and just kind of play through, really easy. So let's call that just really relaxed, easy thinking, right? So there is a continuum. You can have very intense thinking, let's call that a 10, and then you kind of can have just really open-minded, hardly even thinking at all. Let's give that a 0. So we want to learn how to dial down the intensity on our thinking, because what you think is what you get. If you think hard and intensely, concentrate and focus hard, you're going to experience that as more tension in your body. Whether you notice it or not, that's happening. Okay? So we want to learn how to think in a way that's easier, less intense. Because actually, you can think better, more efficiently, more effectively, more intuitively. You just think smarter and practice smarter, your instrument, when you're more open-minded, bodied self. Have an open mind, body, self. That's what we want. So on each finger for the second hand, I'm going to actually count backwards from 4 to 1 so that you really get this idea of dialing down the volume on the intensity of your thinking. And I'll do it with the volume of my voice as well to help you out. Okay? So give me a thumbs up or a yes, write yes in the comments right now if this makes sense to you. If this idea of turning down the intensity of your thinking makes sense, just write yes in the comments, okay? Or give me a thumbs up or something, just so I know you're with me and we're on the same page. Because I'm sure some of you have never even considered this idea before. It's brand new. Does it make sense? And if it doesn't, give me a question. Okay? I'm here to connect with you, and if you've got questions, I want to answer them. Like Gary had this fantastic question earlier, and I digressed, but it was such a great question. I have to answer. So I'm getting a lot of yeses. Good, good. Carol, Thamiris, Carol Ann, Joe, Jill. Great, great. Okay, so, and hearts, and oh, I love the hearts. They're just my favorite. And these thumbs up, great. And Larry. So I hear that you're on the same page with me. This is good. Great. So I'm going to continue, and we're going to do the second hand of the cycle in this way, lowering the intensity of our thinking. Okay, great. So you have your thumb. You're not holding it intensely either. It's just sort of very softly resting there. Good. 4, 3, 2. Good. Index finger. 4, 3, 2, 1. Middle finger. 4, 3, 2, 1. Ring finger. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Thank you. 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's do one more hand. I enjoyed this. I want to do another hand. Okay? Hope you stick around and do it with me. If not, join my Facebook group and we'll talk about it later. But let's do another hand now, if you want. Excuse me. Thumb. 4, 3, 2, 1. Index finger. 4, 3, 2, 1. Middle finger. 4, 3, 2, 1. Ring finger. 4, 3, 2. Pinky. 4, 3, 2, 1. Great. So that's the cycle. Primal Alexander technique etude developed by my friend Mio Morales, an Alexander teacher. I challenge everyone here to do this cycle, go through both hands once. Don't do more than that, just once in the morning and once in the evening. If you are a musician, most people here are violinists, especially violists, but really this is for everybody. I suggest that you experiment with doing the cycle at the beginning of your practice session. Okay, before you get out your instrument or before you start playing, just stop for a moment. The cycle takes literally 2 minutes or less. Really, I mean, I took forever today, but I was teaching it. When you actually sit down to do a cycle, it's going to take you less than 2 minutes, okay? Everybody's got 2 minutes, okay? No excuses out there. I don't care how little time you think you have. If you care about yourself, you've got 2 minutes. If you want, of course, you don't have to do the cycle, you're free. But you do have time. You do have 2 minutes to take care of yourself and do something really incredibly powerful. It's so short, so easy. So give me, this is a big, important one, okay? I know I asked you already, but I want you to do it again. Give me a yes or a thumbs up if you take my challenge. Mio gives people this challenge all the time, and it's so great. If you can commit to doing the cycle twice a day for a week, and then, you know, I'm going to be here in a week again. This is going to be Mondays, 9 a.m. every week. And then you'll tell me next week if you did it, and we can talk about it, okay? Give me a thumbs up if you're going to do it. Or a heart. Heart's even better, because then it's coming from the heart. Yes, wonderful. I'm getting lots of hearts, thumbs up. Barbara says, oh, yes, great. So, and Linda, 2 exclamation points. Yes, all right, wonderful. Yes, this is great. So we're going to do this together. I promise, oh my God, I'm promising, that's scary. I'm going to take my promises really seriously. I promise to you that I'm going to do the cycle twice a day for myself. Actually, that's easy because I already do it a lot. So, okay, so we're going to do it together. Victor, yes, wonderful, you're with us too. Great, Eleni, everybody there, thank you so much. Okay, I am done for today. This has been really heartwarming. It's very moving for me. I hope you can tell, I love the Alexander technique, and I love sharing it with the world because I know firsthand through daily experience that it's a lifesaver. And I just can't even begin to tell you how much it's changed my life for the better since that first day I took my first amazing lesson from my first real teacher, Eric Bendix, who actually, for your violinists out there, you'd be interested to know, my first Alexander teacher is the father of Noah Bendix Balgley, who is the concertmaster of the Berlin Philharmonic right now. Really nice connection. And actually, it was so special. Last year I performed with Noah with Apollo's Fire, and he wanted me to give him an Alexander technique lesson. So then I got to give back to Noah, and it was just a really nice exchange, teaching my first Alexander teacher, who I love Eric. Teaching his son, who's a violinist and such a wonderful violinist, was a really, really special thing for me. It's like coming full circle. So Alexander technique has changed my life, every aspect of it. for the better, and my violin playing. And I feel like I'm only at the beginning of really discovering how deeply I can evolve my violin playing using these tools. It's mind-boggling, and to be totally honest with you, it's scary because I'm seeing my potential and I don't like to brag and boast. Humility is a very important quality for me. So it's hard for me to even talk about my potential as a violinist, and it's hard to share that, and yet I see it and it scares me to death. Not quite to death because I'm still here, but that's what it's about. That's where my deep work lies, and that's what I am really starting to share and open up more and more with all of you musicians, especially violinists. So, oh, Victor, you know Noah? He says, oh my gosh, Noah? Yeah, Victor, I would love to hear. You know him or something. Tamiris, I don't know how to say your name. I'm sorry, Tamiris maybe. She says, oh, you're welcome. Would you mind repeating your 3 magic sentences? I missed one of them. Oh, I'd love to. Okay, my 3 magic phrases, I call them my magic phrases, again, are, I am free. I don't have to do anything right now. I don't have to do anything for short. Okay? So I'm free. I don't have to do anything. I have time and space. Space kind of goes along with time. They're the same thing. So I have time. Those are my 3 magic phrases. Okay, and now you know how to find ease. You know how to do the cycle. I've given you everything I've got. I think I'm done. Send me your questions. Send me anything you want. But most of all, I want you to come join my group. Use the link at the top of this post. And again, I've got a really fun checklist that has a lot of deep meaning to me. And I'm almost done with it, and I'm going to send you the link to have me email you that checklist with a guide on, what's it called again? The 7 keys to making your music sing. Very important stuff. So I want you to have that. You are so welcome, Joe and everyone. Glad you are here. Thank you so much for sticking around and watching this whole show. It really means a lot to me. Thank you. And I invite you all to be here again next Monday and every Monday after that, God willing. I'll be here Mondays at 9 a.m. to talk about whatever comes up. And I do want to get your suggestions, your comments, your questions, because it makes my job easier, gives me topics to talk about. And we will talk about them in the Facebook group as well. So come join us if you're not a member, and post your stuff and comment. We've got a great group. It's really wonderful people. I have so much love for everyone in my group. So come be one of those people if you're not already. Okay? So have a fantastic day or evening wherever you are in the world, and happy practicing. Okay? Much love. Bye.